Hello and welcome to episode 88 of the Low Back Pain Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Grant Elliott with RehabFix online low back program. And today's topic is the worst thing that you can do for your lower back. I have a great lesson to share today. I'm very excited to share it and how you might be stuck doing the worst thing for your lower back and how you can understand it and how you can break away from it and you can stop doing that thing so you can recover. If you have not joined my private Facebook group yet, you need to. It is called RehabFix Low Back Program. Search it on Facebook right now. You'll see some questions you need to answer to join, and then you will be immediately tagged in our step-by-step static guide that we use to help individuals all around the world, thousands of individuals at this point, learn how to figure out the exact exercises that will help them achieve pain relief fast and immediately. There is tons of value. There's tens of thousands of dollars worth of value on this page. And if you have not joined it yet, you need to. RehabFix Low Back Program on Facebook. It is a private Facebook group, not a page, a group. Go join. Now, today, the worst thing you can do for your lower back. I'm going to start with a story. And this story is going to tell you exactly what I mean by the worst thing for your lower back, okay? We all have had that feeling of getting a rock in our shoe, okay? You're walking, or maybe you're jogging, or maybe you're running, whether you're going through the woods or you're, on the road or on a gravelly area, I don't know. You get a rock in your shoe, and you're like, oh my gosh, gotta get that rock out of my shoe, right? You sit down real quick, you take your shoe off, you get that rock out of your shoe, you keep walking. Oh my gosh, that's so much better, okay? I'm gonna give you an analogy. Let's say you're a runner and you don't take the rock out of your shoe. What do I mean? This is what I mean. You have a rock in your shoe. You're a serious runner. You go out, you run 5 miles. Every single stride, that rock is, let's say it's hitting your heel. Okay. It's stuck under your heel. Every time you heel strike, you feel that rock pushing into your heel. After 5 miles, you get back, you do your 5 mile run. You're like, oh man, my foot hurts. My heel hurts. Geez. That run kind of sucked. I feel a little bit flared up. Later that evening, you're feeling pretty sore. Oh, the next day, man, yeah, your foot's irritated. Oh yeah, your foot's sore. It's irritated. So you're going to rest your foot. You're going to rest it for a week or maybe more. Maybe you're resting your foot for a couple weeks. Okay, finally, my heel doesn't feel sore anymore. The muscle doesn't feel sore. My foot's good. I'm good now. All right. Time to go on another run because I'm recovered. I'm good. I rested it. I feel fine. You go for another run, but the rock is still in your shoe. So you feel good for the first mile, for the first 2 miles, and then you're like, oh man, I'm starting to feel that thing again. You do your 5 mile run, get back. Oh my gosh, my foot's sore again. I got to rest it. You rest it for another week or two, and then pain goes away. And then you do it over and over and over and over. You're leaving the rock in your shoe. So every time you go out and you push yourself and you push your foot in this context, you just flare it up over and over and over and over. And you're on this endless cycle of recurrence because you're not taking the rock out of your shoe. This is what hundreds of thousands of people, this is what millions and millions of people around the world are doing with their lower back. We talk every week with individuals who want to get back into squatting, deadlifting, exercising, running, tennis, golf, sports, all these things. Okay, these are the most common things we hear. And a very common thing we hear is, hey Grant, I want to be able to squat or deadlift in the gym, or I want to be able to go run and do this thing, whatever you want to do, whatever your goal is, whatever you're passionate about. And I'll go and I'll do it, and I'll get all flared up. My low back will get flared up. So I take a week or two off. I avoid that movement. I work on something else and I feel good. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I just need to rest a little bit. I just got to rest. It'll calm down. And then I do that again and man, I flare up again. So I rest a little bit. Rest helps. Rest helps though. And then I'll go and I'll try my squats again and then I'll flare up again. Millions of people are in this cycle where all you're doing is you're just allowing yourself to not step on that rock, in the analogy of the running, You're allowing yourself to not step on that rock just long enough for you to feel like that injury is gone. But then you're going and you're putting the exact same shoe with the exact same rock under your foot, and you're doing it all over again. You squat and flare up, you take 2 weeks off, and you do it again, you do it again, you do it again. You go on your run, your low back is flared up after, your sciatica is bothersome, it's really flared up the next day, you let it relax, you calm down. Oh, no, I'm good now. I've recovered. I've healed. I just needed to rest. You go out for another run, flare it up again. Same thing applies to hundreds of other scenarios. Whatever you want to do, you're probably noticing that this is you. It's because you're not taking the rock out of your shoe. If you just learned how to take the rock out of your shoe, then you wouldn't go and flare up every time. You wouldn't continuously flare up like that. You wouldn't re-aggravate this thing over and over and over as you're attempting to return to your passions. You need to become aware that there's even a rock in your shoe, because you're not going to know to take this rock out of your shoe unless you know that it's there. If you think, oh, this is just the way my shoes are, this is just the way my running is supposed to feel, it's just the way my life is, I want to run, I'm passionate about running, but it's just the way my life is. Every time I go run, I'm going to flare up. That's just the way it is. Then you're going to be stuck there forever. But it's not the way life is. If someone comes along and they show you, hey, every time you go on your run, the reason your foot hurts is because you got a rock in your shoe. Look right here. Let me show you how to take this rock out. And let me show you how to keep this rock out of your shoe. Then you start running and you're like, oh my gosh, I just ran 3 miles. My foot feels fine. Right? Same thing for your lower back. Oh my gosh, I just did a squat workout, my first one in 2 years. My lower back isn't flared up. Wow. I just went and ran and my low back isn't flared up. I just deadlifted. My low back isn't flared up. I just walked. I just sat at work. My low back isn't flared up. You need to learn how to take the rock out of your shoe. And if you're not searching for the ways to take the rock out of your shoe, the rock will always stay in your shoe and you'll just continue to perpetuate this lower back, disc, or sciatica injury. Okay? This initial mindset shift is crucial to recovery. It is crucial. This is the worst thing you can do for your back, is not recognize that the rock is still in your shoe, is not recognizing that you're just on this cycle of low back flare-ups. And it's not normal to be so limited in things that you want to be able to do. It's not normal to just continue to flare up and flare up and flare up and flare up with the same thing over and over again. That's not normal. Back pain is common, but being stuck in that position is not normal. That's not just the way it is. That does not have to be the way that your life is. So you need to, 1, identify that there's a rock in your shoe in the first place. There's a rock in your shoe and you need to get it out. How do we get the rock out of our shoe? 1, by not ignoring it. 2, by doing something about it. So what do we do about it? Well, the individual who's currently listening to this, you're not in our program. We haven't assessed you. I'm not going to know the exact answer for you, right? But I can give you a general concept. How do we get the rock out of our shoe? 1, if you have sciatica, you need to go to our private Facebook group and go through our sciatica guide. It will literally tell you how to identify what movement will get the rock out of your shoe. It literally is taking you step by step on how to resolve that. Okay, if you don't have sciatica, it will still give you a very accurate concept on how to do that. Okay, there's a clinical audit process. There's a check and recheck or test and retest process. You need to go through that. It'll explain how. Okay. But anyway, the big picture here, how do we get the rock out of our shoe? Okay. Well, 1, we don't rely on rest. Do not rely on rest. Rest will not help you. It never does. It will not help you. Resting your foot doesn't get the rock out of your shoe. Resting your lower back does not resolve the root of the issue. Okay. 2, start to work on the mobility of your spine in the direction that is limited the least, or better yet, that you go the least. This is the principle of do the opposite. Many of our clients are limited bending forward. They're trying to bend forward first thing in the morning, putting their socks and shoes on. Oh, they feel it flare up in the low back or the leg. They're wanting to bend over to touch their shoes. Oh, they feel that bending over. Trying to pick anything off the ground, they feel it bending over. They might be quite limited in this fashion. And they think, oh, I just got to practice bending over to make it better. No, that's a trigger for you. That's a trigger, and that's just going to pick the scab. That's just running on the rock is what that is. Okay? So think about your daily movement. And this is meant to be a general prescription because those of you who are listening, I might not be your coach. Okay. We might not be your coach. Not yet, at least. If this podcast is, resonating with you, then we should be. But anyway, assess your daily movement. Think about the movement of your spine that you're doing the least. Most people are in flexion all day long. Most people are sitting most of the day. Most people are bending forward most of the day. So let's work on the other ranges of motion that your spine is not exposed to. Your spine is exposed to plenty of flexion. It doesn't like it. So take your spine the other directions. That will help you start to get the rock out of your shoe or address the root of the issue of your lower back. If you have significant sciatica involved, like I said, go to our guide. Our guide will take you through that. We need to work on the disc and the nerve root. There are different movements we do for the disc and for the nerve root. For the disc, we're usually doing repetitive end range loading. For the nerve, we're usually doing our openers and our closers and our mobilizers and our flossers and sometimes our tensioners. There's multiple different sequences that we take individuals through to resolve the nerve portion. We need to do that first because that is what's going to get the rock out of your shoe. Okay? I'm literally telling you the answers right now. The structure is the most important. The guidance is the most important piece. That's really 90% of it. I could tell 1,000 people out there with disc issues the exercise that they should do that would resolve it. But without knowing how many times they should do it, what times of day they should do it, how many reps, how many sets, when to progress it, when should they stop, what to do next. Without that information, they're only going to get so far. Okay, they're going to get stuck. So the structure and everything, that's the key component here. But I can't individualize that for everyone listening to this because I don't know your situation. Okay, but assess those types of things that I just threw out there. Work on the root of the issue first. That's going to start to get the rock out of your shoe. Address the root of the issue of your lower back. What is not going to get the rock out of your shoe? Rest, massage, e-stim, acupuncture, adjustments, injections, all the above. Those are not going to get the rock out of your shoe. Why? Because it doesn't require you doing anything about it. Remember, you have to be the one to take the rock out of your shoe. We can teach you how to do it, but we can't do it for you. You got to be responsible. You got to know when it's in there. You got to know how to take it out. Okay, all of this is applying to your lower back. I hope this is making sense and you don't just think I sound like a fool continuing to talk about a rock in your shoe. I thought that's a really good analogy, so I wanted to use it. Okay, you need to be in charge of the movements and the exercises to do to address the root of the issue, to address the rock in your shoe. So one, we identify it by going through our proper assessment. This is what we do with all of our clients that enter our program. No one enters our program without a proper assessment with us. Okay. And then two, identify the initial movements to address the root of the issue. Get the actual rock out of your shoe. And then we slowly grade you back into running. That's the process that you need to go through. Okay. Don't just keep running with the same shoe, with the same rock every 2 weeks, expecting something to change. Don't just keep going to the gym and squatting or deadlifting or running or doing whatever exercise with your lower back flaring up every 2 weeks, expecting it to someday stop, because it's not going to. If you're still having that root of the issue, if you still have that rock in your shoe and you're going and you're doing that every couple weeks, it's just going to keep going. Okay. You're perpetuating your own cycle. And I don't want you to do that. I care about you getting better. I care about you recovering. I care about you living and living your life to the fullest. And that is not an approach that will be successful for you. And I wanted to use this analogy today to help you recognize that. So if this is helping things click for you, if this is turning on some light bulbs, then follow this sequence. Do something about it. Approach this differently. Get off this merry-go-round. I don't want you to be on the merry-go-round anymore. I don't want you to be on the roller coaster. I want you to find a lasting solution. I am here to help individuals around the world recover from lower back issues the right way through our one-on-one professional guidance. And this is what we do with our clients around the world. We teach you how to take the rock out of your shoe. And so this is the step that you can start to make in your life to learn how to do that. Whether it's through our free content, the individualized content that's on our Facebook group that's not open to the public, or if you're like, you know what? I just want to get right to the results. I just want to skip the line. I don't want to keep messing around with this for months or for years. I just want to get straight to the results. Then we'll do it all for you. Okay? So all you have to do is just submit an application on our website. Get on our Facebook group, reach out to us, send us an email, let us know you're ready to do this thing, and we'll take you through that initial process. And we'll show you how that plan looks. Then we'll show you how to take that rock out of your shoe. We'll teach you how to do it. But don't just keep running with that same shoe. Don't just keep running with that rock under your foot. You got to do something about your situation. You got to address the root of the issue. Let's get out of this cycle of pain. If you enjoyed this podcast and you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, please leave a 5-star rating and review. I recently checked our reviews. I believe we're in the 30s. Would love to see us get to the 50s. Please help this podcast grow and reach more people and help individuals find solutions to their lower back by leaving us a rating and review. It is free to do that, and it would really, really help. As always, move more, move in nature, move in the sun. Join our private Facebook group, RehabFix Low Back Program. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.